Tuesday Night Impact on AXS TV. Dan, how the fuck are you this week?
Good, man. Still recovering from last night's little parade of drinks, but I come prepared. I'm wide awake, so I'm good. Stable.
All right, so one of the things that this week Impact that I read last night or this morning I don't remember, but it was that Impact had been working overtime, the production staff, in order to rearrange the television show, basically due to the allegations, and they had taken some of the segments out and put some segments in from future TV shows that were edited already. So basically, if anybody that doesn't know, they had fired Joey Ryan and was it Dave Christ from the Dave. I forgot his brother's Jake. I don't think he got fired. I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't heard anything negative about him, but the worst part is it's like they're a really good team, the Christ brothers, and now one of them's gone. And Joey Ryan, well, I don't know. I never really liked the gimmick, but he always seemed like a genuinely nice guy. So outside or in interviews and stuff. But so let's see. One of the things that I thought was very strange about this week's episode is like the first hour or so was just basically all women's matches. And
I was going to bring that up.
I was just like, I understand that they re-edited the show. So the first match that was put on the TV show was Tasha Steelz and Nevaeh, and I'm guessing that was not the that's not the first match that was planned, because Crazy Steve was in the first match originally and against Cancel Culture, which featured Joey Ryan and Dave Christ. So yeah, they replaced it with that match, which I thought was a pretty decent match, actually. I didn't think that it was pretty good. I mean, thought it was a pretty good match overall. So, what'd you think?
It definitely looks like the rivalry is still picking up between the two women's teams at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, we see a lot of distractions with the ref, and Steel coming out of nowhere with that high knee. Kind of looking like Triple H right there. Only thing I probably didn't like about the match was the weak combo, like the 3-piece combo that Steel was going with. She kind of looked like she was doing like a finger poke of doom ×4. But Tasha was mainly in control there, and Hogan distracts Nevaeh and Steel rolls up and win.
It sounds like Nevaeh has only been in there a few weeks, from what I could tell, right? I don't know if she's been in there earlier than that, but it seems like looks like they're giving her some sort of a push right off the bat.
Haven't really seen anything special from her. Within these past 2 weeks, but the way they're picking it up between the two teams, I think it's more like, let's see how we can do with her, maybe possibly being carried by a tag team before we push her as like a single star.
Yeah, I like Tasha Steelz as well. I liked her in the NWA. She made a couple appearances there, and I know she made a couple appearances for Northeast Wrestling as well. I guess she's from the area, and so it's good to see her on national television. It's kind of cool. I don't know if this has anything to do with the situation that happened, but they went back and basically did another plug for the what's the name of the channel, Impact Plus, and they showed the flashback of Bully Ray against Devon 2012.
Yeah. Well, they really, if you really look at that, the whole flashback thing, they technically kind of showed 3 with the Dudley Boys, and then at the end with the unmasking of Gallows, probably right there too.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun segment. I think that's during the period that I wasn't watching Impact Wrestling, because I stopped watching.
I knew about that whole segment. I knew about the whole Aces of Eights and some of the members who were part of that stable, but at that time I wasn't really watching it. It was slowly dwindling down, and Dixie probably had no idea what the fuck she was doing anymore.
Well, she liked to spend money and then make the company broke. I know that they were borrowing money here and there from other people. I know they
Yeah.
borrowed it from what's his name numerous times when he worked there, Billy Corgan. So for TV, to produce TV tapings and such. But yeah, I stopped watching Impact after 2010, the October 10th, 2010 episode, 10-10-10. They kept promoting this huge buildup, and I think when it happened, it was Hogan and Bischoff talking for like an hour straight, and I just shut it off and never turned it back on. So
Right.
it just ended up being like a bunch of crap. And I didn't fully get back into Impact until 2018, and now it's like one of my favorite TV shows to watch every week. It's been, I kept hearing, I didn't watch it because I think, Dixie and Vince Russo and Bischoff and all those guys were in and out. And it just, once this happened, then it ended up, you know, once they sold the company and they rebooted it, it was really good. Actually, it's still very good right now.
Right.
They when they switched television networks, it's kind of struggled a little bit, but now it's definitely doing really good. Ken Shamrock confronted the North when they were what are they talking shit about him, and basically,
You know what? It was such a funny encounter too, because like Ken
yeah,
Shamrock just comes out of nowhere, like, "All right, you little helmet head boy, you want me to break your legs and snap your neck? I'll be your Huckleberry." And I'm like, "Wow, like for somebody who's supposed to be the world's most dangerous man, you
right.
really don't find that intimidating."
He sounded like an old man.
And, and you know something, I was really looking forward to seeing that match between Shamrock and Josh Alexander, but obviously we know how that happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought that was gonna be like I was like once they set that up, I was like, this is gonna be a great match. My God, Josh Alexander, you know that I really like him a lot, and it just ended up they ended up attacking him from behind and laying him out, and
I
it was
mean,
corny. Yeah,
maybe that's leading to like maybe a potential tag team championship match at Slammiversary.
that's a possibility, or maybe a handicap match or something. It's gonna lead to something with them.
But also before that match even took place, we saw the intense, I guess you could say, virtual promo between Deanna and Jordan Grace.
Yes.
We have Grace
Oh,
dropping the F bomb and everything, and it's like,
yes.
oh, okay.
That took place with what's his name, Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio was on. I kind of popped. I'm a huge fan of Dave, so I
And
think he's great.
looking at that, I feel like that segment was probably part of the filler uh,
Yeah,
for the whole Joey Ryan situation and everything. I think
it's
they really just
possible.
incorporated that in like last minute. So I
I
mean,
normally go ahead.
but it was kind of weird because it was like, all right, after the virtual promo, then we cut right to a promo with Deanna in person, with Alicia or whatever her name is.
Alicia Edwards. Yep.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that match? I thought that match was. I don't know if I've ever seen Deanna Purrazzo wrestle before. I don't know. Very possible that I did.
I've seen her
I
a couple times.
Yep.
I mean, some NXT, some obviously when she
Yeah.
got up for Raw for those couple segments.
Right.
But like during this match, it was more like limb targeting for Deanna. It was
I
just her debut.
Yeah.
Uh,
It seemed like it was just a really like a short kind of technical match, and it was actually pretty good though. I liked it though.
it was good. I
Yeah.
mean, throughout the whole match, I mean, Deanna just kept controlling the arm most of the match, just
Right. Yeah.
taking down the arm ligaments there. But then obviously after the match, we see Grace run in, try to get Deanna, but Deanna ends up saying, she wants this done at her own time.
Right. Yeah. She just walked out, and then that was the end. Excuse me. That was the end of that. And Shamrock and Alexander, we already talked about, is very short-lived. And is this a third match? The third women's match. Now I couldn't believe it. They really wasted like 40 minutes between the Tasha Steelz match and then the Deanna Purrazzo match. If you look at it, they did. They showed that classic match to promote the network, the Impact Plus, and then a bunch of promos in between. And all of a sudden, it's like you look at the clock, it's 8:40, and then that's when the Deanna Purrazzo match came out. So they wasted like a whole half an hour just on stuff that really didn't have much to go like forward in any storylines really. And they showed off. Johnny Swinger was featured quite a bit in this episode in ridiculous skits trying to find his tag team partners.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've seen encounters between him and Rich Swann, Manic, Hernandez with
Yep.
the kind of the stupid sketch there with him in an arm wrestling match. And I lost my swing. Like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. That was just a
What's
bad joke.
happening?
Yeah.
And the thing with Taya, she's sitting there like, "Oh, where's Bravo?" And he's like, "I don't know Bravo, but I love Dean." And it's like, really? Like, like, really?
So that match, the Taya Valkyrie and Susie match, that it just seemed like it was way too slow paced for me. It didn't seem like they were really trying to put on a good
Right.
match. I mean, you know,
It definitely wasn't something too special for me. I mean,
right, right.
the Susie character, you know, slowly, I guess, trying to make its way back to Sue Young, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely after that match. That's what they were hinting at after she was being harassed by Taya Valkyrie. You know,
I
it
mean,
seemed,
nothing too special. I mean, it was more like Taya just bullying throughout the whole match.
yeah.
Couple botches that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Really botched the corner bulldog.
Yes. And they were doing that. She was setting up for that surfboard maneuver where she was tying up the reversing the legs and trying to. And that was just kind of it just seemed too obvious that Susie was giving it to her. So you
Right.
know that. So
Something that I did like in the match, Sue Young performed like a very unique turnbuckle Rana, I guess you would say. Um,
mhm.
she basically just uh, you know, uh, builds herself up. She gets herself up, catches her by the legs, and then just rams her head into the turnbuckle, which I thought was pretty unique. Never seen a Hurricane Rana like that before performed.
Right.
And then Taya wins with the Road to Valhalla, and then Kylie comes in to save Susie.
Yeah.
So
She was being taunted and beaten and bullied basically, and Kylie Ray came out and saved her.
Kylie
Um,
did not look too smiley like she usually is.
Smiley Kylie was not so smiley. That's right.
Hey,
So Chris
a great
Bay,
value Bailey.
what's that?
A great value Bailey.
Right. So Chris Bay, Swinger, and Rahit Raju took on the Deaners and Willie Mack. I guess Johnny Swinger found his tag team partners. Chris Bay, I really, really like a lot, and they kind of made a reference to him challenging for the X Division down the road. I would not be surprised if he did take that title and go a little bit further. He's a
Building
superb
it up.
performer, man.
I mean, they're definitely building it up because Chris Bay did end up getting the pin
Mm.
over the X Division champion today. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Willie Mack I like a lot. Actually, most of the guys, with the exception of Swinger, I mean, I just find him his character's just getting annoying for the age that he is. There, I mean, uh, anyways, Madman, the main event, I kind of enjoyed the main event, Madman Fulton and Eddie Edwards. That was a pretty damn good match, and it did not end exactly how I thought it would end. The
right.
I thought Eddie Edwards would somehow find his way to victory, but Madman Fulton, Eddie Edwards took some rough spots over there. It was Madman Fulton just picked him up, throw him over the top rope like he was like a freaking sack of potatoes, you know?
Yep. Throw him right over the top turnbuckle. Madman showing a lot of offense, a lot of good offense that I really never witnessed from him before. I mean, obviously, I recall his
Right.
days in WWE, NXT, but like we
Yep.
really got to see what he's about. He did like a
Yeah.
very nice tilt-a-whirl power slam, which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this is mainly just building up, Ace Austin. Ace Austin recalled in the locker room, or he had like a backstage segment before this match. He wants to become the youngest world champion, which I didn't even realize, how young he was until I looked it up, and I think
How
like,
old
wow,
is How old is he?
he has. I think he was about 24, I believe.
That is pretty young. Yeah.
So I mean, if he does pick up that victory, I mean, I will be very pleased.
I'm very interested in seeing who's going to win that world title match at the Slammiversary. So he's 23 years old. Yep.
Okay, cool.
February born on leap year. Sorry for him. Um, so, so, yeah, I thought overall I kind of enjoyed the episode of Impact. You can kind of tell it was cut up a little bit because it was just there's a lot of stuff that seemed out of place a little bit. They definitely also overdubbed vocals from what I heard. I did read that as well, or commentary. So
Yeah, and I think it just dragged. I mean, 3 women's matches in a row was kind of just a little bit of a kill for me.
I don't I don't mind the women matches, but space them out a little bit.
Right.
Because they Impact Wrestling does have a really talented women's roster, knockouts roster, whatever you want to call it. It just seems like you said, space it out a bit more and kind of give them more diversity. But they went from that pretty much to like the main event almost after that, with with the exception of the 6-man tag match. But it ended
Right.
up being a pretty good show for the most part.
Something that we forgot to bring up here. We
What's
we are
that?
going to see a TNA World Title match next week, as we seen the segment with Moose. Yeah, fuck him. And crazy. Basically, Moose is just sitting there telling everybody in the bag he wants to be showered with gifts because he's the TNA World Champion. Steve comes out of nowhere saying, "You're not the real champion," yada yada. And Moose is just like, "Okay, you got yourself a title match next week," and it's like, but it's not a real title, Moose. You can't defend it. It's not active. Like,
Well, you saw the um, during that segment, the referees were kind of mocking him throughout the whole thing, so that kind of made the segment a little bit better. Because yeah, Moose is kind of it's not as entertaining as people think he could be. As I guess on the microphone, he's not that bad in the ring, but he could have whatever.
right.
he could be he's got to learn to sell it more, a little bit more, you know.
But you know what? Continuing on with Impact here, not just the show, but talking
Right.
about the canceled culture, uh, officially being canceled. No pun
Yeah.
intended. Where do you think that's going to lead between, obviously Joey Ryan being fired, Dave Chris being fired, and now all we have is Rob Van Dam with, Katie Ford.
They're gonna have to find something else for Rob Van Dam. He's gonna have to come in. There's a lot that he could do though, because wasn't he? I know for a while he was feuding with Rhino. I think that feud is over. But they're gonna have to figure something else out for him to do when he comes back, especially for Slammiversary. It's just this whole entire situation has just fucked a lot of companies. And Impact, just right in the middle, just had this cut storylines right from their TV show and rearrange the editing for their television shows because of this situation.
Right.
So it's just, hopefully that they'll be able to get through this with their TV tapings that they already have recorded. I don't know how many matches, because like Chris and Ryan had already recorded for the upcoming TV segments. So we're going to have to see how they're probably going to work stuff in, like more classic footage or whatever to promote the Impact Plus, or maybe some more promos and stuff like that. It's a shitty situation, to be honest with you, where this happened. But Joey Ryan's apparently, on top of that, he deleted all forms of social media, and his wrestling promotion, Bar Wrestling, is now closed down as well. He put out notification of that somehow, that's closing. High Spots said they took all his the events off their streaming network and will no longer be selling their merchandise as well.
Yeah, that's funny because as soon as you mentioned that to me earlier today, I hopped on High Spots and checked it out. They still kind of got his autographs and DVDs on there,
Okay.
surprisingly, but that might be gone after tonight, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Not just Impact itself, but like this whole circumstance, the whole sexual allegations going on outside of Impact.
Yeah. It's
Marty
happening
Scurll,
everywhere. Yeah.
Marty
Yeah, Marty's.
Scurll
Yep.
basically, I guess you could say he kind of just like admitted it today, because it was just like he was like, you know what? just to sum it up, he was like, "Oh fuck it," like shit
Yeah.
happened. At the same time, in the UK, legal things are kind of different in the UK than how they are in the US. So how they play differently, we're not sure.
This is true. I'm not sure exactly what the situation was with him is. I know that he was named today, or maybe it was last night. Excuse me. I don't.
I know it had something to do with like a 16-year-old girl, and I guess this was like 5 years back
Okay.
or something like that.
Right. I think
Like
there are.
I think there was
Yeah.
like 5 other UK wrestlers involved.
Okay.
They weren't named.
Right. I know that in certain parts of the world, laws are different regarding that, but either way, my opinion is that's still a child. You know what I mean? I have kids that age, so
Right.
you know. Um.
It sucks
Anyways, yeah,
because
it sucks.
like
But he. Go
I
ahead.
feel like it's happening to like all my favorites. It's like I start to support certain wrestlers, and then all of a sudden they just decide, let's just commit dumb shit.
You're
Because
right.
like
Right.
earlier, like, is there not any good wrestlers out there not committing dumb shit? Like,
I don't know, man. It seems like everybody's, well, not everybody, but you know what I mean. A lot of guys are coming out and it's, or being exposed, I should say, not coming out, but a lot of guys are being exposed. And the worst part is, well, it's not even the worst part. It's, he was doing a lot of good because he had been made head booker for Ring of Honor.
yeah,
And I guess he bridged the deal with the NWA where they're going to be co-promoting together and they were going to be leading up to another Marty's Girl, Nick Aldis match. And our Ring of Honor guys were appearing in NWA. NWA guys were appearing there. And so it seemed like they were going to bring the NWA back into the mainstream with, with that, with him going back and forth and stuff. And now, obviously Lagana got in trouble and he resigned and situation and now Marty's Girl. So it's just like that whole situation is like double fucked now. It's really pathetic and sad. I mean, I really like Ring of Honor and the NWA was my favorite, and now they just announced that they're halting all productions based on this bullshit that's going on in the world. This just stupidity on the the workers' part that them not being able to be true gentlemen. So,
right. Definitely a strange time for wrestling, especially this
yeah,
year. It
as I
started
state,
off good.
yeah,
Definitely started out good. Royal Rumble and everything. I thought that was a good event. And then, just like leading on with like other promotions, other events that,
right,
came up. And then the whole pandemic hit.
yep,
That screwed up everybody's schedule, everybody's future events. Everything was put on a hold temporarily. We're just starting to open up. It's still a work in progress, but we're slowly going back to normal
right,
frequency, I guess you could say. But now this happens. You got
yeah,
all these wrestlers accused of sex allegations. I mean, obviously,
right,
Joe Ryan was fired for that. Dave Chris. Um, Not knowing where his brother's going to go. Is his brother going to leave the Impact? I mean, I would say so. I mean, they were
right,
trying to think them as being singles competitors,
right.
but obviously
Um,
that's out now.
Now Michael Elgin has also been suspended. That's going to make
Wow.
for how long? I don't know if they mentioned for how long. I'm assuming he's going to be suspended up until Slammiversary. Is he going to make it? Is he going to come back, make his appearance then? From what I understand, they suspended him basically for until while they make a decision as to what to do with him. But I
Right.
think that I think that whatever happened with him was already known, and it was a number of years old as well.
Right.
Not I'm not defending him in that way by any means. But he was my pick to win the Impact World Title. Now I'm not so sure that they're gonna put the title on him based on this shit. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
I
mean,
I was joking with you earlier that earlier today that when we do our year in review in December, it's going to be a really fucking interesting year in review. It's going to be filled with a lot of bullshit. So
it's like we're already like halfway through the year, and it's like
yeah,
not even on like the second part. Who knows what the second part will hold for us? Um, it's just crazy. Now I got to think. You really got to think about all the possibilities that are coming up now.
Right.
With the main event for Slammiversary, is Michael Elgin going to be there? Bigger question is Tessa going to be there?
She's stuck in.
You know
She's
how we're going to substitute this. I mean, the best way I would probably book this is have Madman involved.
he would not be a bad pick to put the title on him, believe it or not, because I think that at some point that is going to happen. And the last couple weeks, him as a singles wrestler and being basically Ace Austin's sidekick, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually went in that direction, or if they steered him in that direction.
Even just like proving it tonight, him just taking out Eddie Edwards just proved that he doesn't really need Ace Austin there. It's more like
Right.
Ace Austin with him. So
Right. I mean, Ace Austin is a tremendous wrestler. He's phenomenal, but two different ends of the spectrum. And I think that they're probably put them together to basically build them up as two singles wrestlers to both go for that situation. You know what I mean?
Right. And I would probably find that the best situation, especially during this time with Elgin suspended, but not knowing how long, not knowing if it's going to be temporarily, permanently, or indefinitely, I should say. But I would definitely substitute that. But then where does that lead with the whole, backstage segment with Elgin on the phone with a Canadian? So
my guess is that I think, did we touch on this last week, talking about Impact, or maybe we talked about it when we were texting, but I think it's Eric Young. That's a very big possibility. I think my original pick was Petey Williams, and I think you shot back at me most likely Eric Young, and I said that's a really great. That's most likely true because he's, they're trying to build up for certain guys to be coming back and jumping in. So, I actually watched that promo video for Slammiversary, and you're able to see they're focusing on guys that are coming in. It seems like that.
Right. Especially today. I mean, they aired it again today.
Yep.
I mean, obviously nothing's changed, but I mean, they're really hinting on like big names.
I think EC3 isn't obvious, and I'm pretty sure Mike Bennett is definitely one of the guys as well. Heath Slater is definitely a guy that they're definitely going for because they've hinted at that way too many times, and I just can't seem to think who else. Eric Young, I think, is a definite as well. He had an amazing career in Impact prior to going to NXT and WWE.
Right. It's weird. I mean, especially with like the flashback today. I mean, they Dudleys, and if you notice, I mean, they're not really showing any type of flashbacks with guys who are already currently here.
Right.
I mean, they're only showing flashbacks of guy like, hey, that guy was just released. He was just released too.
You got a good point there.
Bully Ray. I mean, he wasn't in WWE for a while, but he was a part of Ring of Honor. I'm not even sure if he's still under contract with them or
not. He's still there. Yeah, I don't. Ring of Honor has nothing planned as of right now. They tweeted out that they have nothing planned as of right now, but he's still under contract to Ring of Honor.
And then obviously Devon, he was a road agent after I guess he was like semi-retired. Let's see where he comes in. And then obviously Gallows, they revealed Gallows from that flashback segment with what was it, Joseph Parks and Gallows, and they revealed maybe a possibility of having the Good Brothers or maybe Gallows by himself. But I know Carl Anderson, he had like hinted some things about Japan.
Right.
So I'm not sure if they're taking their different routes.
Yep.
But I know Anderson was auctioning off some of his WWE gear.
Right.
So seeing where this might lead up, I mean, there's a lot of endless possibilities, but now with some of the segments change and some of the storylines shifting into a new direction, it kind of just changes the culture of what to expect at Slammiversary. especially with the main event, because the main event, that was going to be the match that determined it all. Like, who's going to be
Right.
champion? Who's going to be there? Is Tessa going to be there to defend it? Or is she going to get replaced? Like, the only way I could probably see this is if Tessa's not going to show up, at least vacate the title that night and then have Madman Fulton involved in the match and
Right.
hopefully Elgin still participating, especially after being suspended.
Yep. My thing is, I think that Tessa is currently stuck in Mexico. That's where her boyfriend lives. So we don't know if she'll be making her way back to the country, if she'll be able to get over through the border at that time period. We have no idea what's really going on in that
Right.
situation. But I think Slammiversary definitely looks like it's going to be. It's shaping up to be a really great card so far, provided these wrestlers, they don't have to fire anybody else in between now and then. So we'll have to see. So
Right.
yeah.
I mean, so far we got the world title match, and then it was announced tonight that Jordan Grace will defend her Knockouts championship against Deonna Purrazzo.
Yep. Now, do you think that Jordan Grace is going to walk away with the title for that, or do you think that Deonna Purrazzo will be crowned the Knockouts champion?
Um, I think it's going to build up for a while.
Hmm.
I think at anniversary, I mean, I'd like to see it go either way.
Right.
Deanna, I mean, I think she's really shown a lot of progress throughout her years.
Okay.
Especially how she explained her first stint in TNA, how she was shy and didn't really take no action and like putting her foot down, and basically what led her to from her departure.
Right.
Basically just touring around the country, touring to different promotions. Obviously, we know where she ended up in
Right.
some of those promotions. But now to see her back, full of confidence, the virtuosa. I definitely enjoyed the gimmick.
Yeah.
She kind of sounds like a female Scott Steiner with the whole mathematical equations. But
She's
other
doing
than that,
Steiner math, huh?
very I like her. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying I like her because hey, you know what, her and Grace are Rick.
I
We keep
know.
it on that low key, but other than that, like I said, I like to describe it both ways. I mean, if Deanna can pick up the victory, I think she'd look good. But I think the only thing that's holding her back, and I just think the arm bar is kind of weak. I mean, I like the arm bar. I find it as like a very common submission,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't look like there's a lot of effort put into it. And I mean, I think they could come up with something else when it comes to a finish. I mean, I don't think it necessarily has to be a submission type hold, but
Right.
I like Jordan Grace too. Especially with her and her attitude. Seeing her dropping F bombs tonight on the virtual promo. But they've been going at it. These past couple weeks. I mean, they ended Impact last week. Or not last week, but I think it was like the week before.
Right.
But yeah, I have to give those two a lot of credit. They definitely do have chemistry together. But Slammiversary, if I had to pick one, I think I'm going to have to go with Grace retaining.
Okay. Yeah, I think you might be right, and they will probably build it up for a while, maybe before they decide to do a title change.
And
Oh,
the way you got to look at it too, you haven't really seen Jordan Grace on the offense when it comes to getting Deonna Purrazzo at the right place at the right time. Especially with her making her way her debut on Impact a couple weeks back,
right.
hitting her with the armbar, catching her from behind, hitting her with the armbar, and then when Grace finally had that opportunity tonight during her in-ring debut, she was just like, "Nope, we're doing this at my time. You ain't doing this right now." So I think at Slammiversary, it's definitely going to be Jordan's time, and I think she's finally going to get her hands on Deonna Purrazzo.
It might be too early to take that title off of Jordan Grace as well. Basically, she won it shortly before this whole pandemic started, in actuality. So she hasn't really been that champion for long, and they've only held two TV tapings, like two sets of empty arena TV tapings so far. So it's like really hasn't been she really hasn't held that title for like a very long time. So
Right.
they might not be ready to take it off her, so they might build up the feud some more, give them a whole entire series. So that could be good. So what else we got to talk? Do we have anything else Impact related you want to talk about, or
I pretty much covers Impact for today. I mean, until next week. I mean, obviously we got the TNA World Title match with Crazy Steve and Moose, which I really don't know how that's going to work out.
That
But
seems
other
like
than that, still on the road to Slammiversary. I mean, we got almost a month.
We have a month. Yep, a month to go. Don't forget, what's it? Extreme Rules is the night after that. So you're going to be hearing those 2 nights in a row next week, Dan and Rick. And JJ always joins in on Sundays as well. So we might see if Mike, Mr. Trivia, might come in from the Top Rope Report. He always does a WWE report as well. So we might have a full roundtable discussing Extreme Rules. So that's going to be a big weekend for us. That weekend, 2 pay-per-views in a row. So 2 days in a row. So I'm looking forward to that one. But we got a whole month to go for that.
And speaking of weekend, you and I have been discussing about buddying up, taking a trip to this classic wrestling convention that's supposedly going to take place in September.
I'm looking at the website now, September 19th, 2020. It is a Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's got the DoubleTree Hotel in Hartford. I guess, from what I understand, it's actually Windsor Locks, Connecticut, but it's in the Hartford area. I'm excited for this lineup, to be honest with you. It's a bunch of guys that I want to meet. I also want to get the word out about the podcast while we're out there as well. Ricky Steamboat's going to be there. Marty Jannetty, the Headbangers, Brian Cage, the Godfather, your girlfriend Jordan Grace, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, Simon Grimm. He blocked me on Twitter too for I have no idea what reason. But, certain guys I know why they blocked me, but him I have no idea why. Former WWF Intercontinental Champion Greg the Hammer Valentine. The Ascension, apparently they're now called The Awakening. I didn't know they were still teaming up or where they're even wrestling right now.
I've seen Connor a little bit active on Instagram. Victor, I haven't seen much since he did get released.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna have to look up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look and see where they're popping up. Dangerous Danny Davis, Kevin Sullivan, Mario Mancini, Paul Roma, Andrew Anderson. Jesus Christ, that's a name I probably have not heard in a very long time. Lance Archer. Who else? Deanna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
Renee Michelle. AEW's Nyla Rose. Mr. Technical. Barry Horowitz. Jillian Hall. Molly Holly. Cowboy Bob Orton. Hornswoggle. The Boogeyman, and 3-time Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Tag Team Champions of the World, the House of Pain, Nick Payne and Hakeem Ali. Those are good guys right there. So I'm looking forward to that convention. There's going to be, I think that there's a Q&A available with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I'm going to have to look that up in just here a second. What are you looking forward to there, Dan? Meeting any of those guys?
I mean, for the most part, I've always wanted to meet Ricky. I always admired his work. Three of my favorite matches from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat right off the back. Obviously, if you don't talk WrestleMania 3,
that's right.
What are you doing? Yep. So, and then there's the Chi-Town Rumble out of the the series of matches with Ric Flair and
Ric Flair. Yep.
That was probably my favorite out of the trilogy. And then another match. A lot of people don't talk about this match as much, but the way I look at this match, I love the build-up. I like the way they, they were basically storytelling in the ring. especially with this gentleman that I'm about to mention right now. But it was Ricky Steamboat versus Stunning Steve Austin at Bash at the Beach '94.
I can tell you, they had a really great series of matches. I'm going to mention a match that I watched of his. I think is terribly underrated that I don't think really gets enough talk. It's from, I think, Beach Blast 92, 93 in WCW. He had a 30-minute Iron Man match with Ravishing Rick Rude during both. Yep. And that's a phenomenal match. I remember watching it back then, and I watched it, a few years back, and I think it's a really good match. So there's a Q&A with him that day. It's let's see, $15 just for that Q&A. $20. Well, general admission is $10, but there's a $20 general admission that you get one complimentary autograph by a soon-to-be named former TV talent signed at the show. That can be anybody, so we'll see about that. Then there's $20 for a Steamboat autograph. I already have one of those. And there's a Steamboat photo for $20. Your photo taken with your camera or cell phone with Ricky and they really get you that way. I don't ever remember things being like that. So I would like to get a picture with Ricky the Steamboat. That's probably, one of the options. There's a couple more options here as well. Steamboat autograph photo online price for $30. And there's a $90 VIP Steamboat thing. Let's see what this includes. The package includes admission to the Classic, 3 autographs from Ricky the Steamboat, your photo taken with Ricky, and admission to the Q&A. That's, I don't know, it's quite the deal there. And then there's going to be a Marty Jannetty party, probably an hour and a half, I believe. Where did they say that was going to take? At the hotel. And basically, it's just going to be a Q&A and all that shit, so hanging around with Marty Jannetty.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a line of coke there. No Marty Jannetty. For them to have a hosted party with Marty, I don't think that was really the smartest idea, knowing Marty's history. But that might have been Marty's call too. We don't know.
Yeah.
But
he seems like a genuinely nice guy. But he's partied way too hard. Yeah.
And you know what? Speaking about Marty Jannetty, I had met him 3 years ago at the WrestleFest in 17. That was the
is that Northeast Wrestling?
Yeah, Northeast Wrestling.
Yep.
That was the event with the main event of Kurt Angle and Cody Rhodes in the cage.
Oh, I didn't go to that. Yeah, I remember hearing about that show. Yep.
I definitely marked out for that day. But I remember just engaging with Marty. He was the last person I went up to, surprisingly. Because either him or Kali, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this chiseled chin looking motherfucker. I'm just gonna go to Marty. Went to Marty, and the person who was ahead of me, like right before me, it was like a little kid. He probably had to been like 6, 7 years old. And Marty's, he's doing his autograph and stuff, and I think he messed up. I'm not sure. Or he tried to write the child's name, and he basically just gave the kid the Sharpie and was like, "Here, you write your name." And it's like,
really?
That doesn't really count,
I've never heard of anything like that before.
I never heard of personalizing something to yourself. I just kind of found that weird, but he was kind of in a vibe. He looked very scrubby that day. He had like one of those Carolina Panther shirts on, and I'm just really.
I saw him at in a shoot interview not so long ago. He's quite the character. We'll just say that. Don't want to talk bad about him, but he's quite the character.
I got a picture with him. I got this nice 8x10 of him holding the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Very nice photo. He definitely has a nice signature when he wants to. But other than that, this whole party that he got hosted, I really don't think it's going to turn out well. Not to me, but as for other guys I want to meet there, I obviously got both of these women's 8x10s personalized. Jordan Grace and Deanna Purrazzo.
Yep.
I'll take pictures with them. I'd probably feel like an asshole taking a picture with both of them, especially now with them feuding at the moment. So it's like, well, I can't pick one over the other, so I'm just going to pick both. Other than that, I'm trying to think who else do I see on here on this card. Kevin Sullivan, that's a maybe. That's definitely a maybe for me.
I think Sullivan's a definite for me. Danny Davis is a definite. Lance Archer and Brian Cage, I'd like to talk to as well. I was thinking Nyla Rose, but I'm not entirely sure about that.
I was thinking about Nyla Rose a little bit. And then possibly, oh man, who was I just thinking of? Possibly Greg Valentine.
Yeah, that's definitely on the list of. I don't think I've ever met him before because I've been to many conventions in the past, and I don't think he's ever been to one. I met guys like Jim Neidhart multiple times. It's just I don't think I have a Valentine I've ever met.
Right. I never met Valentine. I've always wanted to meet him. Every time I looked on like YouTube at like conventions, he's always at these certain type of conventions, old school conventions.
Yeah.
Like WrestleCon, But I mean, for the most part, the rest of this card, I mean, kind of looks kind of pretty bland.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm an '80s kid. I grew up in the '80s. There's a lot of guys that I watched back then that are going to be there. Steamboat, Horowitz, Valentine and Sullivan.
I definitely want to talk to one of them. At least get one of them on my like YouTube.
Yep.
Maybe like 3 quick questions, or maybe have them do like an intro, like, "Oh, this is Ricky Steamboat, and you're watching Dan the Beast '94. Subscribe to his channel, especially if you're watching his channel and you're not subscribed. What are you doing?" Something like that. That'd be interesting. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I've heard that he's a very nice guy. I've heard it from everybody over the years that knew him or that have met him as well.
Or I was thinking the best thing we could probably do here is maybe hold like a live video on the wrestling DVD room.
Yeah.
Either conducted by you, conducted by me, or we could just take turns doing it both ways, and
right.
showing people like, hey, this is something. You know what? Now that we're here, I definitely want to discuss this now. Me and Rick have been talking. Obviously, this is the WrestleZone podcast, but ever since we've been doing these collaborations, which I've been very humbled to be a part of, I kind of came up with the concept like, hey, still under the WrestleZone banner, why don't we call this the lab? We have the professor here and we have the beast. Yep. And I just feel like it gels so well together, especially with these personas and names that we took upon ourselves. I figure like, all right, let's roll with it.
Yeah, man, I'm having a blast having you part of the team now, and JJ on Sunday nights as well. So I think we got a good group of guys here, and I'm looking forward to doing more with both you guys. And I know there are a couple other people that asked to come on as well, so that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, we're gonna continue our Tuesdays and Sundays every single week, definitely, unless there's like a natural disaster or something.
Right.
The world comes to an end. We're definitely going to continue.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that convention, the Wrestling Classic. Let's pray, hope that it does not get canceled. It is in September, so there's a lot of everything up till next month is canceled. I guess they're starting. Northeast Wrestling has announced a show that they're definitely doing in August. Or according to them at this moment, because I guess they ended up canceling all their July shows. So we'll see. I know that on Saturday I had Big Daddy, the Guardian of Chaos, on, and he said that the Paradise Alley shows that were booked for September are canceled. So I think he said September, maybe it was August, but those were canceled. So, and that there's definitely one coming up at the JCC in Woodbridge, Connecticut, coming up at some point too. So. We should definitely, you should go to that. That's a really nice building. I went to the last show that was there, that they did there. It's a beautiful building. I actually played in a Scrabble tournament in that building as well as part of my job. So it's a very nice building. I grew up around the corner from there in Woodbridge as well. So to see live wrestling in my hometown, it's good.
There you go.
Yeah. So what else we
I
got
mean,
here?
I'm hoping for this convention. I mean,
Yeah.
we just went through like the whole second wave of opening things up here.
Yep. Yeah.
Obviously that third wave is, coming soon, supposedly July, August,
Yeah.
maybe. So I'm hoping by then, I mean, everything's kind of cleared up. I mean, obviously going through like new procedures of living life
Right.
behind a mask, I guess you would say.
Um,
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the show. Definitely looking forward to meeting some of my favorites.
yeah.
And maybe go to that party with Marty. I mean, who knows? I mean, that would definitely be interesting.
So one of the things that I find is funny. I mentioned earlier that you thought that it was kind of bland, the whole group of people, but then I just realized it is Connecticut. Of course, it's going to be bland. They're not going to be bringing in, guys like Hogan or Nash or guys like that. Not into Connecticut unless it's like maybe at the
Well, you
like at the
well,
casino or something.
you know something. Speaking about the casino, it was supposed to happen sometime around last year, and I think I mentioned this season before. Um, Oh my gosh, I forgot what the name of the promotion who was running it, but it was supposed to be. I think it was Pro Wrestle Fest. Pro Wrestle.
The one that was supposed to take part at Mohegan Sun, where it's
Yeah,
supposed to be the gigantic NWO reunion, that thing.
yeah. I had bought my ticket. It was about
Yeah.
$25, probably a little bit more. And I had bought my ticket already. I had everything set up. I had pre-ordered a 60-minute shoot or 60-second shoot with Mean Gene. So I was supposed to have my little own shoot series, but then he
Right.
ended up passing away 2 months before the event was supposed to take place. So, I was already. They had Sting booked. They had the Steiner brothers, Hall, Nash, Pac, Eric Bischoff,
Yeah.
a couple other names.
Well, like I
Bob.
said, that like I said, if nothing this big would happen unless it happened at the casino of all places. You're not going to get that anywhere in the area that we live. The casino is where all the bigger things happen.
And
Um,
I
and
heard rumblings of Hogan possibly. I mean, I think Hogan was
I they didn't finish announcing all the guests when they decided to shut it down. And but from what I understand, that was Mike Lombardi from Northeast Wrestling was actually the one that was promoting that event because they were going to be also running a Northeast Wrestling show that evening.
Yeah.
So, but they said they were going to reschedule it at one point, and then if you go to the web address, it's a completely different website now. So I
Well,
have
yeah,
no
'cause
idea what
I went
happened.
there and they had offered a refund, and then they said that the event was supposed to take place sometime in like July.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess they're gonna do it due to vending issues or whatnot or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just ended up getting my money back. I was really looking forward to going to do that and
Yeah,
possibly
get pushed back.
get my promo, with Mean
Yeah.
Gene.
I
Would have
think
been
it
nice.
got pushed back. I think it got pushed back twice before they finally decided to cancel it. So they kept changing it up and all that shit. But that was definitely like a big convention I wanted to go to as well because it looked like anybody who's anybody was going to be there. Especially if you watch wrestling in say 1999. You know what I mean? Like that's when like all those guys are going to be there. Not to mention vendor guests as well. So,
That,
so
that, that
yeah,
some interesting things there.
yeah.
Let me see. Got any pickups? Have
No pickups as of yet. I'm expecting something. Most likely, I'm getting my box from Pro Wrestling Crate tomorrow. I know you said you sent me something that should be here either tomorrow or the next day.
I'm hoping. I saw the tracking. It said Friday, but
A lot of
I
times
thought,
with high spots, a lot of things with high spots, they're very fast, and sometimes it'll say 2 days, but then it'll be there like the day before one of those days. But there's also, I'm expecting my High Spots mystery crate as well this week, and another package from High Spots, which let's see, I'm trying to remember what it was. That one is going to be really amazing because I think I bought a shitload of Memphis DVDs at $7 a pop. If I can get into my email here, I could probably tell you what the what exactly they were. But there's I'm looking forward to that package. I think one of them is a C.W. Anderson autograph. Coincidentally,
He just
I bought
retired.
this. Yeah, I bought this, and he announced his retirement like 2 days after, which is
Right.
just it was very bizarre, you know.
And then
So
I know this Thursday we're High Five is going to have Ron Simmons at the gimmick table.
yeah, I know because I can't tell you that I the invoice I got from last Thursday is pretty fucking scary, and the invoice from Saturday together was pretty fucking scary when I got it today. So
Man.
I think my wife is going to divorce me when she sees all these high spots boxes coming up. So hold on, let me one.
I'll probably take part of that gimmick table Thursday.
Yeah,
Finally make some moves because I know there was a couple things that they had that I really wanted to jump on, but then I was like, nope, let me
yeah,
not hold back. And then they had the I think it was like the kitchen gimmick table.
that's on Saturday nights. Yep, they do
That,
it
which I
right on.
one thing that I did see that I was ready to jump on was the demolition micro brawlers, and I was like, nope, don't get into that habit.
I think yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I try not to collect the micro brawlers, but you know, but then I decided, okay, I'm going to collect them, but then I'm just like, that's a whole nother thing. I collect autographs, I collect DVDs, and I collect shirts.
Right,
So I'm like, if I start collecting that, that's going to be a whole nother thing where I'm just going to be buying all that shit.
right.
So I decided that I'm just going to buy guys I like here and there, certain guys. I know I bought two of one uh, last week. I bought two Colt Cabana ones because that's my 4-year-old son's favorite wrestler. So I figured I'd give him one to play with, and he walks around singing his theme song all the time. So this is what I got. I actually got Meltzer's books, tributes 1 and 2, and they were selling both of those books. Those are big, thick, hardcover books. They're selling them both for $10, which I thought was a phenomenal deal. I think when they came out, they were like $25-$30 each. So I mean, both of them for 10, it's phenomenal. The deals at High Spots is High Spots should give us some money because we're talking about them and promoting them all the time. so, oh, this is one of my favorites. I know I should just wait for this video that I'm going to record when this comes out, but the Fabulous Ones DVD from the Memphis, the first family of Memphis, the Colt Brawlers, Lawler versus Rich and Idol DVD, a Nikita Koloff 8x10 autographed, and C.W. Anderson, and an Eddie Gilbert in Memphis DVD.
Oh,
And
okay.
that one, I didn't see that one until after because I stopped watching for a little bit, and then I went. I think I left my house and I came back and I rewound it and then watched it, and I saw a couple of the other Memphis DVDs and 70s arena matches from them. So I'm really looking forward to getting that box this week. It's going to be a lot of shit. So
Well,
that's
obviously you've seen my unboxing today. I got
I
some stuff
did.
from spots. Couple of
Yeah.
the RF shoot interviews again.
Yep.
Some of them were autographed.
Yeah.
So very happy with that. I ended
Yeah.
up picking up the superstar, Bill Eddy.
Yep.
He's slowly becoming one of my favorite legends. Obviously with the whole demolition thing I got going on lately.
Yeah.
Uh, Watching demolition matches on the network. I was just watching them versus the Bulldogs. It was like some type of like um special event. I like sometime in like 88 or 89. It was like I think they had like an event in Japan or something, and it was the British Bulldogs and Demolition going at it. I've seen the Saturday night's main event um match with Demolition and what were they called? The Brain Busters.
With the two
They
out of
have a
three falls. Yeah, where they won
yeah,
the tag titles. Yep.
that was fucking phenomenal. And then
Well,
one match that I messaged you because I was like, I never knew this match took place, and I'm not sure what event this was. It had to have been some type of special event, but I ended up seeing Demolition taking on Tito Santana and Mil Mascaras.
I am just floored by that. I don't know where that aired, or is there commentary on that match?
There is commentary. I believe it's from Vince and Bobby, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe took place on primetime wrestling in 91-ish, or
I don't know
maybe?
because it was such a weird setting
Yeah.
because as soon as the show opened, there was like no intro to the show. It just went right to the match, and that was the first match on the card was
Hmm.
Demolition and Tito and Mill. So.
I'm gonna have to look it up. So you found it just by searching Demolition in the search
Yep,
bar?
I went to Demolition on the search bar. Went to the matches. Scrolled over a couple times to the right, and there it was.
Yeah.
And this was definitely like early Demolition because I think this was like Barry when he first started with like Demolition. His hair was still
Oh,
short.
so it's
Had
probably
been like
80, yeah,
late
1987. Yeah,
78.
yeah.
Oh,
I remember them when they were, when it was Axe and Smash. I know that they had Randy Colley in there as Smash initially, but everybody knew he was one of the Moondogs, so everybody would
right.
chant Moondog at him, and so they ended up replacing him. I think he ended up going back to being a Moondog for a little while before he left the company overall.
Yeah, I believe it was that, and he wrestled under a mask for a little bit too before departing from the company.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I think you're right. Yeah.
Tag team, either a
Oh,
tag
the
team or
Shadows. The
yeah,
Shadows? Was it the
yeah.
Shadows? That's right. Yep. Okay. I remember seeing them. I saw them wrestle Paul Roman and Jim Powers in person. Yep. Okay. I forgot that he was a part of that. That's right. Yep. And then I think he went to NWA, WCW. He actually had a tag team of Barry Horowitz there in the NWA. They didn't last very long. No, so yeah, that was a very weird period for professional wrestling.
So going back to the pickups here, the superstar, I ended up getting mostly all the Armstrong family. Brian Armstrong, known as the Road Dog.
I
Uh,
saw you got the DVD, the Brad and Bob. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I know there's probably no Brad Armstrong autograph out there because he's passed away. He's been passed away for a number of years now. The Brad was one of my favorites back when I was a kid growing up. I thought he had one of the best drop kicks in wrestling, in professional wrestling. Yeah,
oh
it
yeah.
was awesome to watch him.
I talking about the Armstrong family and this supposed Armstrong curse that was like rumored around all these years. I tell you, the Armstrongs, especially Bob, he's one tough son of a bitch. I tell you, the story I heard about him was, I think he was like lifting weights or something like that, and a weight dropped right on his face, and he required a lot of like plastic surgery, like onto his face, and I just thought like, wow. And I think that's what really caused the Armstrong curse because it was like Scott, he was mainly a personnel, like color referee. Brad, obviously, he did some wrestling.
Yeah.
Well known. I mean, obviously not as big as, Brian, but I mean, he was probably the second best out of the Armstrongs when it
Who
came to popularity. I think Brian was over on Brian was
I
over
think
on
Brian
that.
did because he got into the mainstream through, WWF. But my favorite was always Brad out of the Armstrong family. I like Steve Armstrong and Scott Armstrong a lot as well. But I tell you, my least was uh, what the hell, Brian. Even back then, like before he was the Road Dog, I always thought he was kind of like the weaker one. I remember him when he was in WCW uh, as a jobber. So he still had the braids and he wore regular wrestling gear. But I remember, yeah, I always liked Steve and Brad out of the two. Scott was really good too, but Scott,
I definitely have to put Brad over too because I definitely
yeah,
loved his work. Um, Great athlete, but you know what happens when it comes to great athletes? They're always put in these stupid gimmicks. Um, Obviously, he was known as a Freebird, Fantasia when they
yeah,
won the six-man WCW tag team titles.
yeah,
But then that name was changed due to the whole Disney taking copyrights,
yeah.
um, which I just thought that was ridiculous. Um, then he was known as the Candyman.
I remember
Uh,
that. Yeah, he had the striped and the white. He dressed like a candy cane. It was ridiculous. Yep.
basically.
Yeah.
And then I known for a while.
Bad
like
Street as well, under the mask as well.
that's
It
who it
was
was.
yeah,
Bad Street.
he wore the same gear as he did as Fantasia, basically.
Yeah, because
So
it was originally Fantasia, then they switched it to Bad Street after the whole I guess
yep.
the copyright thing. I know later down the line he would sign with WWE. I think he was mainly used as like an enhancement talent for a while,
Okay.
and then he ended up doing some backstage stuff. And then from what I read, he was actually supposed to be part of a three-man commentary team for the reprised ECW brand.
That's up right up until obviously before he passed, right?
Yeah,
Because I don't ever remember him. As far as I know, he never worked for WWE. I think that Steve did at one time, and obviously Brian did. So,
yeah.
I don't ever remember any, but I remember them all being there for when Bullet Bob got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Besides Brad, obviously, because he was passed already. Yep.
But I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, Brad was only, I believe, he was only 51 when he passed away. Um,
Yeah, which I find it's very terribly sad that he passed away at such a young age. Yeah.
so
Yep.
I'm definitely looking forward to that interview. See what him and Bob would have to say. When it comes to like their gimmicks, their in-ring careers. Maybe WWE promotion
Right.
wise.
Yep.
And then the last pickup I got, very special one because this gentleman has also um passed away. It's been about 2 years now this month. Um, and that's Big Van Vader. You know,
Another guy. Yeah, he was a phenomenal phenomenal athlete especially for a guy his size.
he was definitely one of the best guys, one of the best big men, I would say. Um, I only had the privilege of meeting him once, and I regret never getting his autograph, never really getting in touch. Um, really not really communicating with him. I remember I seen him at the Northeast Wrestling Show. It had to been like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
And, he was active. He was competing and everything. But what I found kind of sketchy was prior to the show, he was selling autographs for one price. And then by the end of the show, I think he upped it like $10, which I didn't really understand.
I've never really heard of anybody doing anything like that before, but
I think the autographs he was doing were like 20, then he upped it to like 30, and I'm just like, what?
yeah.
My cousin was with me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get his autograph," and then he was like 30, and I'm like, "What?" Like it was just 20 before the show even started. I was like, "Okay, weird," but I guess he was looking for a little bit more money at that time. So,
Yeah.
um, what's pretty interesting about this interview, there might have been a typo error in this when they were typing out the whole description. But this interview was taking place after he got released by WWE. But the date on here says January 1st of 98, but clearly he was with WWE at that time till September of 98, because I remember
Okay.
his last feud was against Bradshaw at the Breakdown pay-per-view. Um, so this had to have been at least the beginning of 99, because I know right after he left WWE, he went right back to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely should be something interesting. And I also got that autographed on the cover, Big Van Vader. So another one to in my nice little collection haul of autographs. So.
I don't know if you saw in my collection a while back. I got in a package. I got a Vader watch.
Yes.
It says Vader time right on the front. So, which I think is pretty. It's pretty hilarious. It's a nice little piece to have in the collection. So
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah.
yeah. So what else should we get on before we go? We could probably go
I
for
know.
about another 15 or so minutes.
Well, I know soon you and me are going to be discussing the Mr. Wrestling 2 DVDs.
That's right. I believe we're going to try to get to that this week,
Right.
depending on both of our schedules this week. Because that one I'm really looking forward to watching. I haven't had the opportunity to sit down. It's going to be interesting to sit down and try to take notes uh, with that, watching that, you know?
Yeah. I definitely want to learn about Mr. Wrestling too, because I've been really looking into the archives of like masked wrestlers in the 70s and 80s, which
Yeah.
is probably why I'm a big Bill 80 fan now. Just learning about his career within the business, being probably one of the best top veterans in the
Right.
business, knowing what he's doing. Um, yeah, Mr. Wrestling too. I'm hoping to get to that tomorrow. Because
That
I don't
sounds like
really know about
yeah.
Mr. Wrestling too.
That's he's revered as one of the greatest mass wrestlers from the era. Actually, one of the greatest wrestlers from that era. Period. So yeah, that'll definitely be a good one to definitely get through, especially to see Steve Carino. I mean, I don't know how old that video is actually that came out.
From what it looked like, it had to been like at least from 2013, maybe
Okay,
2014. So
yeah.
couple of years old.
Did you
And
get the
something that I did like about that segment, I did watch the preview on YouTube. They basically have like the back of their heads turn to each other, and then they turn around like, all right, how are we going to do this? Like, and Steve's just like, wait, I got an idea, and they both put their masks on, and then it's like that's when the interview basically starts. Because if anybody doesn't know, Mr. Steve Carino here is Mr. Wrestling 3.
Yep. That was after when did he wrestle as that? That was probably earlier 2000s, correct?
Like earlier
Yeah.
2000s. I think this was like around the time of
It's definitely
the Extreme Horsemen.
MLW and MLW, right? Yeah.
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 So
Speaking of MLW, I hear I read I think either earlier today or yesterday. Sometimes all this news hits me early in the morning. I think it's like days ago, but they're supposed to be relaunching their older TV series, MLW Underground, where they're going to be showing a lot of highlights and stuff from their original run in the was it 2003 era, like where they're going to be showing a lot of classic footage. So you're going to be seeing guys like Steve Carino and I think was it Barry Windham and all sorts of guys from that era of MLW on their TV show again. So I'm looking forward to that. I got a couple older MLW DVDs sitting around. I used to have all the TV shows on DVD, but after moving several times since those shows aired, I don't have them anymore. So that was a good show though back in the day. I'm glad that they're back on TV.
I'm definitely looking forward to that because that's something that I unfortunately didn't grow up with because I
Right.
was still a kid and I was still big on WWE best promotion in the world. Like, yeah, that's the biggest lie I ever told myself. So
Yeah, well, they have the most money and they can hire almost anybody, but not actually in 2020. I guess they can't. So not a
uh,
lot of people. A lot of people are looking. The thing about professional wrestling in the was it 20 teens up until 2020 before the pandemic hit. A lot of indie guys had the choice whether they could make money on the independent scene, which they weren't able to do back in the day, and just by selling their own merchandise. Guys like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and guys like that were able to basically pave their own way without
right.
having to sign to WWE without to make a living, which was a great thing for the industry. So, all right, I guess that's it for this week. Dan, why don't you promote yourself a little bit?
All right. If you guys want to find me, Facebook, Danny Bryant. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's D_Banshee187. If you guys want to follow me on YouTube, I am known as DM the Beast 94. So hit that subscribe button, especially if you're going to be watching my videos and you're not subscribed. What are you doing? Hit that button, and I guarantee you that I will bring out the best content when it comes to entertaining my friends and fellow YouTube colleagues.
Also, if you want to find me, it is the Rick Del Santo on Twitter and the Instagrams. And on YouTube, it is the Professor Rick Del Santo. This is uploaded in both video form and audio to all major podcast platforms. Take care, everybody.